Australia's internationally criticised policy of offshore processing of refugees and asylum seekers in Papua New Guinea will end in December after 8 years. Australia will now send boat arrivals to the Pacific nation of Nauru.
Tamil refugee Tanus arrived by boat in Australia and was sent to immigration detention on Manus Island in PNG.
We were destroyed everything physically and mentally.
He is now back in Australia for medical treatment as a result, but has been told he will never settle here.
We have been living in community and detention uncertainly. We always need a permanent solution.
The Australian and PNG governments have agreed to end 8 years of offshore processing in December. But there's no change to government policy after a deal last month with Nauru to indefinitely continue processing there.
But it's also a very strong message that we're sending to people smugglers that there is zero chance that people who attempt to come here illegally will never, ever, ever settle here. And the thing that Australia should never, ever, ever forget is that at least 1,200 people died attempting to get here.
The PNG solution was struck by Labor Prime Minister Kevin Rudd in 2013 after the arrival of 50,000 asylum seekers and many deaths at sea. Opposition spokesperson for Home Affairs Christina Keneally says Labor supports Operation Sovereign Borders, offshore processing, regional resettlement and turnbacks. But under the Morrison government, mismanagement resulted in indefinite detention in which people are treated cruelly. More than 100 refugees and asylum seekers remain in Papua New Guinea, and the many medevaced here to Australia, including dozens here in this Brisbane detention centre, have been given 3 choices by the federal government: return to their home countries, resettle in a third country, or go to Nauru. Those remaining in PNG will become its responsibility, despite Australia's neighbour for many years wanting an end to involvement. New Zealand has offered to resettle 150 refugees, but that's been so far rejected by Australia.
Then the Papua New Guinea government should negotiate directly with the New Zealand government and accept the New Zealand government's kind offer to resettle 150 people.
No boats have arrived in Australia since 2014, but there is regular international criticism for human rights breaches.
Well, sadly, this policy continues to undermine Australia's reputation. Again, we've seen the UN, through our periodic review, criticise Australia.
For refugees like Tanus, the future remains as uncertain as ever. Stefan Armbruster, SBS World News.